nervous.
It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great.
Okay, good.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Yasa. I'm a violinist, and in this pandemic, I started this channel to bring more awareness in this world and to introduce you to different countries, different cultures, and maybe widen your horizons a little bit. And I'm inviting my dear friends to join me in this journey. Today, I'm introducing you to a beautiful woman, an amazing friend of mine, a Colombian girl. Her name is Dora. She's a beautiful singer and a masseuse, for that matter. And Dora will tell us a little bit about her home country, Colombia, today. Hi, Dora.
Hi, Yasa. How are you? This is so exciting. Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm so happy you're joining me. And actually, I call you Dorachka, right? Because this is how we do it in Russia. we make cute names by adding chka at the end. So, how does your family call you in Colombia? How do they make your name more?
Well, we do have also, like you guys have the chka. We have Ita or Ito.
That's
for
right.
Female or male. So Yasita.
Right.
And they call me Dorita.
Dorita, beautiful.
My friends call me Dorita. But my family, it's funny because they call me black. They call me negra.
Oh.
It's a term, of endearment. I guess, I don't know, I'm a little bit tan-skinned or whatever, so I'm, dark hair and all that, so they call me negra.
I love
it. And my sister, because she's a little bit pale, is a little bit whiter than I am, she's Mona.
Oh, and Mona is white?
Yes, Mona is blonde. Mona is more like blonde. Yes.
I'm learning Spanish, so one day we'll do episode in Spanish, but not too soon. I'm taking it slow. I want to learn properly.
Good for you.
Tell me, please, you've been in the United States for 23 years now. I know you went to school in Colombia, so you went to kindergarten.
I started in kindergarten, yes, and then elementary school.
Middle school and high school. Is it the same structure as in US?
I'm sorry?
Is it the same structure as in United States?
I guess we only have 11 grades though in high school.
Okay.
And I understand here they have 12.
I see.
And also schools there, many schools, we just have what's primaria and then secundaria, which is like elementary, and then the middle school it's right there right before high school starts, but we don't say middle school. We just say or elementary, primaria, or high school, secundaria. And the school I went to, I studied with nuns, and the same school my aunts and my mom went to, my sister went to, is just female school, just girls.
Oh, wow.
And so I went to the same school from kindergarten to high school, all in the same school.
Fascinating. Dorita, tell me more about that. How do you feel about men and women studying separately? Do you find it beneficial?
Well, I guess, I don't know. I mean, there are of course, other schools that are co-ed, like they say co-ed here, right? For mixed, like women and men together. There's some schools like that. My dad, I was telling you before, my dad taught at a school which was like that, female and male students. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's okay. I don't know. I was very happy going, all girls school. It was nice. I guess, people, or it'd be like easier for girls just to study with all girls because we don't have mean guys or something.
Right, and we don't have distractions.
Yes.
We can concentrate on studying.
No, I guess. But there were some mean girls too. Not too many. I was so lucky to go to a very, I don't know, very loving school. You know, the teachers, they were nuns, but they were not dressed totally. Some of them were, but most of them were just dressed normally, you know, in normal clothes. And also they had the regular people, lay people, as teachers. But I love my school. I still have friends. We have a WhatsApp group, of course, with all the girls that we went to school together. Some of us studied together from kindergarten to high school. And we're still friends, you know, after we graduated in 1991.
Amazing. That's amazing. I had the same experience. I studied with my schoolmates for 11 years, since kindergarten to high school. I wish we had WhatsApp group. I think I need to propose that. That would be so much fun. But I do keep in touch with some of my girlfriends still. Dorita, tell me, what about your kids? When you will have kids, do you want them to go to school mixed or something similar to the school that you went to?
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have kids at this point. But I don't think so.
Would you like to adopt?
That's never been out of the question, actually. I would love to. But I don't know. It all depends. I mean, here in the States, it's very different, you know, education and the culture of the schools. I see sometimes, I don't know, it's like tough, you know. Here, kids are, I don't know, they're mean.
Mean kids.
Like, you know, there are some teachers, some of my clients are teachers, you know, massage, and they come and they tell me, oh my goodness, it's very hard to, you know, to teach. Sometimes kids don't want to learn, and they don't really have a lot of respect for teachers, you know, and parents don't help either. So it's very hard. That I've heard here, you know, in schools, it's hard. I didn't have that problem, you know. Both my parents were teachers, so they were, you know, behind us, you know, doing homework all the, you know, every day. My mom would sit, you know, say, okay, what do you have to do? Let's do it together. Is there anything you need help with? My dad was, you know, he's always been great at math, so he was the one teaching me math. And
tell me about your journey moving.
Very supportive parents.
Tell me about your journey moving to United States. What brought you here? Did you come as a student? Yes. I came as an international student. And then I moved with my boyfriend at that time. And his family lived here, and he had the residency. So that was a great thing for me. So we did that as soon as I got here. Was it a dream for you to move to United States since you were a little girl?
Not really. No. I always liked traveling, and my parents encouraged that a lot. But I knew I was going to move somewhere. I knew, you know, right out of high school, coming out of high school. I graduated in December, and in January, that first week of January, I moved to another city to go to the conservatory and study. Because in my city at the university, they offer just a music ed diploma, you know, the bachelor's music education. But I didn't want to do music education. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be, you know, to sing. I was a violinist back then.
I didn't know.
Yes.
That's why we so connected.
I studied violin for many years until I was 19. And at the conservatory, I was double major in voice and violin. But then to go to the superior studies, you had to choose one. You can do two. So I chose voice because violin is so much harder.
I love how you're saying that so honestly. Violin is yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I felt like if I didn't study or if I didn't practice violin for 2 days, I would take my violin on the third day and I was like, what? What? Did somebody change the instrument? I didn't know.
I know.
Everything was off. Isn't that amazing? I don't know.
One day you don't do this and you lost it, right? Second day it's already you so out of shape, and third day you don't ever. It's like you've never played violin ever.
It froze.
Yes, I know the feeling, Dorothy.
Right.
I know the feeling. Same for me. Violin takes everyday practice.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I don't know why, but like your positions change, in your hand. If you don't play for 2 or 3 days, you're like, it's a different. I don't know. I don't know. But I felt like,
how is it with voice? What if you don't sing for a couple of days? Do you feel like your voice sounds even better after that when you rested a bit?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You do have to give your voice a rest.
Yeah.
I do. Even it's weird, but even mentally,
mm-hmm.
When you like, for example, okay, you practice for an upcoming performance or whatever, you have to practice every day, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you take a couple of days off after that performance, if you can, and you just relax and don't think about anything, any of the music or anything. And then the next time you study, I feel like I can absorb even more.
Mm-hmm.
Does it happen to you?
Same.
And even like things that I was working on technically, if I let it sink in, then I pick it up again and I'm like, so that's what, when I was studying with a teacher, with my teacher out here, I have a wonderful teacher. So I was like, so that's what you mean. Okay. I could understand concepts or things that my teacher was trying to teach me that I could not get. But if I let it rest for a couple of days and then I take it back again, I picked it up. I was like, okay, I understand it now. I don't know.
Very true.
I find that experience.
I find it true for myself as well. Sometimes we just need to give ourselves a little time to let it sink in naturally. Yes. And especially when you feel like you reached a certain level and you reached your ceiling at this moment, it's better to let it rest for a bit. And when you get back to that piece, all of a sudden it's just all you ever wanted it to be.
It's easier, right?
It's easier. Naturally, exactly.
Yes.
Dora, so when you moved to United States and your first year here, everything is so new. Did you already speak English back then?
No.
You did not?
Nothing. Not a word. Not a word. Not a word.
Oh,
not
wow.
a word. And we had English and French at my school because the founder of the high school or the school, because it was also elementary, it was a nun, a French nun, with her last name was Juana de Liszt-Garrison. So I guess if you pronounce it in French, it's Liszt-Garrison. I don't know, without the k at the end.
Right.
So they taught us French. in English and French. So in high school, from 6th grade to 6, 7, and 8th grade is English, and then 9, 10, and 11 is French. Right. So for English, my classes, I've always been good at languages, and I always love languages, always. And that comes from my parents too. They love reading and literature and all that. So I picked it up easy in school, but I memorized everything. Like the things that you would say, I memorized it like a song. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the phrases, conversational phrases, I would have to like memorize. It wasn't logic. I didn't put any logic to it, I would just memorize everything.
It's funny because I had the same experience. I still remember a phrase from my like 5th or 6th grade in English. I still remember the passage we needed to learn. Trafalgar Square is one of the central squares of London. There is a high column in the middle of the street. I remember that whole passage. Similar, right? I will never forget that Trafalgar Square is one of the central squares of London. Oh my goodness.
That's so great. That's so great. Right? Yes, and I would just memorize everything, and I didn't make the logic to think every word meant something, I mean, it was just, I don't know. It's sort of like, for me, it was like memorizing Russian, right?
Yeah, when I first, that makes sense, yeah.
When I first started singing in Russian, because I had a really good pianist, and she was Russian, of course. And she was my coach. And so she taught me some Tchaikovsky songs, beautiful, gorgeous. So she would write them to me in like how you pronounce it, right? But I didn't know word by word of that song. I mean, I was supposed to, right? I was like, I was 19 years old, yes. And very few words. I knew exactly what it was, but it was a long song too. So, for her, she was not gonna sit there and explain Russian to me, what each word. I mean, it was hard. So I just learned it by memory, blah, 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 whatever she taught, I was just repeat like a parrot.
I know what you mean. Same for me with French. When I was learning habanera from Carmen, it was so difficult for me. I was learning literally just word by word without knowing what it really means, but I needed to memorize how to say it in the song, right? And it was pretty much just repeating it again and again and again without really knowing what I was saying. It's hard with how as a singer, how do you learn lyrics? Do you have a special technique that you use, or do you just listen to it over and over? Can you give us any advice on memorizing lyrics?
Well, honey, I understood afterwards that you have to know what each word means in order to memorize it fast. When you know exactly what each word means, you can picture in your head the whole a phrase. You can picture what's going on in the phrase. You can picture the image. Okay, so it's I don't know, au bord de l'eau, if you're gonna, so so it's next to the river, and that's what it means. L'eau, water. So you picture that in your head, right? Mm-hmm. So it's, for me, it became the rule for me. I have to know, even now, if I were to learn a Russian song, I know I would sit there and research word by word, because that'll be the only way that I could memorize that song, that could get, really, really in my head, because I would be able to picture everything that's going on in the poem, the story. I would be able to imagine what's going on, and that's what's going to prompt me, that memory, the words, so I don't forget lyrics and stuff like that. Of course,
that's a great advice.
It happens sometimes,
so you forget something
here and there.
If you forget something on the stage, how do you get out of that situation? You just make it up?
Yes, that's like my biggest fear. That's like, yeah. And I don't know, because the brain is it's an incredible machine. Mm-hmm. After you've repeated and repeated and repeated, and you learn it, the tongue, the movements, they're just gonna do by themselves, So when I'm on stage, and if I forget something similar to the word is gonna come out. Something similar, that sounds similar. So, something. It doesn't happen often. Thank God. I have a good memory for lyrics. It doesn't happen often that I forget, my words or anything. But the fear is always there.
I know. Oh. Well, Dorita, tell me, please. So you moved to United States and you didn't know a word of English because, as we realized, what we learned at school doesn't really help with real life. Yes. What was the way how did you learn English here? I know your husband, did he speak English at that time?
He was Colombian. He spoke very, very little.
So that's kind of hard because your closest person to you here speaks Spanish. You speak Spanish. Probably your first acquaintances and friends were Spanish. How did you learn English?
Well, TV. You watch TV. I watched Law and Order. I don't know, like all day long, on what's that channel, TNT or something like that. Mm-hmm. They play movies and all that all day long. So I watched tons of TV when I wasn't working. Every time I was home, I had that TV on with the subtitles. Mm-hmm. With a caption,
English subtitles or Spanish subtitles?
With the English.
Very important.
English subtitles, because, and of course I was going to school too to learn English, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're learning it, you don't hear, the teachers speak slow, it's not conversational yet. So the words sound very different when you are speaking it one by one, and then all together on like watching TV, for example, and with the subtitles, I would say, I would identify some words that I was learning or whatever, and then I would identify how they say it in conversation, how it sounded with the real, American.
With American accent.
Not English, but like American English, with the American accent, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I would be glued to that TV and hearing what they were saying and comparing it to the words that were playing out. That was the best way for me to learn English. And then, of course, songs. I love Queen. The group Queen. They're English, but all those songs, I would just the same, reading the lyrics and then listening to the song and then learning the songs that's how I learned.
Dorita, how long did it take for you for that moment to come when you finally were comfortable talking to American and you understood 90% of what was said? How long did it take? A year?
Years, at least 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yes. I mean, to be totally, like comfortable and not so scared of saying something that was not going to be correct or that was going to offend anybody or was going to, be laughed at or something,
Yeah, I know. The biggest enemy is the fear, right? If only we could communicate without that fear, I think it would have been much faster for us.
Yes, definitely. So I I'm a shy person, believe it or not. I'm a very shy person. So when I don't know something,
I believe it. I'm a
I
shy
don't
person too.
I don't talk, I just don't speak. I don't talk. I listen. But then when I feel comfortable enough, I start talking and people are like, what? I didn't hear you. So like,
I didn't know you talk.
Yes, I'm so shy. I didn't want to talk.
Oh, Darita. Yes, I know. I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. So, okay, so you moved to United States, you finally speak English. What was the first cultural shock you experienced when you moved here? What was the first thing that have been very different from what you experienced in Colombia?